You saved me. Thanks for that. Thanks for that. I think you should have told me a bit earlier, but it's okay. We didn't start it. So the main agenda is what is the difference between always on Azure VMs and always on on premises. So on premises is nothing but any virtualization tool, whatever you install, that falls under into the category of on premises. Okay. So networking, you were asking me about networking. So currently the machine is running, but if you go to settings, okay, and if I go to network, so what I'm using is bridge adapter. So there are different methodologies here. So what should I use if I wanted to connect? Since I'm using Oracle VirtualBox for many years, I'm using this one. Like bridge adapter is one what I should make use of. And if I go to advanced, I should allow all the missions here. So that if you want to each mission to interact with all other missions, you have to use allow all. Okay, so these are the two settings that you need to keep in your minds. Only this one. So one is bridge adapter. Second is if I click on advanced, it should be allow all. Okay, these are the two settings that you have to create it for all the machines. So I have a domain controller, and even if I take domain controller for the moment, and if I go to networking, so the same goes here. Bridge adapter. Uh, what we call this one? Promiscuous. I don't know how to spell this. Whatever it is. So it should be allow all. Okay, so that is what you should do. If you're using Hyper-V or VMware or some other virtualization tool, you have to check the equivalent setting for that. I am using VirtualBox, so this is how it looks inside VirtualBox. Is that okay? Can I
Yes,
move
yes,
forward?
thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So I didn't start anything. Even I didn't create any Windows cluster or something like that on my on-premises. Again, I'm saying my on-premises is nothing but virtualization tool missions. Okay, you may call this as VMs as well, but the thing is that this is equivalent, just equivalent to our on-premises. Okay, the networking is completely different in virtualization tool, and the networking is completely different in on Azure missions. So that is the reason. Okay, so bro, today will you cover lift and shift as no, no, I don't cover lift and shift for today. Today's session is only about always on, like the fundamental differences with respect to always on. And once we complete the differences, then I will spin up the Azure Arc, and then I'll show you the lift and shift finally. Because before I cover up lift and shift, I have to cover Azure Arc for migrations. As you know, my Azure Data Studio is going to get retired in another 6 months or so. So that is the reason. So let me start. If you have questions, you can stop me. So I'm going to create Windows failover cluster. That is the first step that we need to do as part of always on creation, right? So that is what I'm going to do. Before I do, my two machines are in single subnet. So you have to understand the networking part here. Let me go with draw.io. What is single subnet and what is multi-subnet? These are all basics. I told this many a times, but still there are confusions. Still there are, you know, questions that are unanswered. What is single subnet and what is multi-subnet? Anyone knows this?
Single subnet is like we are working in a same domain. Yeah. And when we are working in a different domain, it is multi subnet.
In short, single subnet is nothing but you have all the machines in one network. Okay. When I say one network, there is completely different meaning with respect to on-premises and Azure. So I will clear them one by one. So let me just uh, pick the figures, diagrams, so it will be easy for you to understand. I have three machines here in both on both Azure and on-premises. Okay. So first let's understand on-premises setup. So I have three missions, right? A domain controller, node 1 and node 2. I just mentioned it as on-prem SQL, nothing but node 1 and node 2. Okay, so if you see the IP addresses of each mission, so let me command and IP config. So the node 2, on-premises node 2 IP address is 192.168.0.20. Okay. So let me write this down. 192.168.0.20. So this is node 2. And let me go to node 1. IP config 192.68.0.11. I don't want to write the domain controller's IP because we don't need that. So that is the reason I'm skipping this. I'll just say DC. DC. So these two machines are they in the same subnet or are they in different subnet?
Same.
Same subnet. So how you are saying those are same subnets?
Third octet.
Yeah.
Third octet.
If you see there are four uh, dots, right? So each dot will represent one octet. They call it as octet. Let, let me write this down. Okay, each dot is being separated with one dot. I mean, each address range is separated with one dot, and that is called as octet. Octet is nothing but 8-bit address. Okay, so that is so let's try to understand this. So if you see the IP addresses, so one is 192.168 0.20, and if it is changing only at the fourth octet from the right, okay, then it is single subnet. I'll repeat my statement. If it is just changing only at the fourth octet, octet, okay, like what you are seeing on my screen, so then it is called as single subnet. Okay, this I explained very clearly in my classes, but again, I don't know like people are watching or not, so I'm doing this again. Just this is going to be the final time. I cannot repeat this again and again. But since you are having few confusions, I'm just doing this for the one last time. So this is right time for you if you to cover up all the basics. For me, this is basic, but if you have any questions, let me know. So this is the only thing that is getting deferred. This is the last octet. From the right hand side, this is the first octet. So if this is getting deferred, then it is called as single subnet. Okay, that's it. For example, let's try to create one more scenario. So I will say 192.168.1.11, and I'll say 192.168.2.11. So how about this? This is called as single or multi?
Multi.
Straight away it is multi, because if my address is getting changed at the third octet or the second from the right hand side, so this is going to be multi subnet. This is multi subnet. First you have to understand the basics of networking before we move on with the concepts. So is this clear? So how about this one? So like I will say 10.1.0.11 and 192.168.0.20. How about this? By looking at this, I can say straight away this is multi-subnet because this completely different network altogether. Okay, this is straight away you can say many people will get confused here. The second one is the one that you need to focus on. So if you see this address, the first two octets are same, but the third octet is getting deferred. If the third octet is getting deferred, then it is multi-subnet. Just give me a second, I will come back.
Hello, I think Vamsi, your voice is not audible.
Yeah, I'm back. So any questions here?
No, Vamsi, we are good.
Okay, so let's move on. So this is the current setup what I have on premises. Okay, so now let's try to configure always on and see the differences when it comes to configuration with respect to on-prem and Azure VMs. So let me select node 1. Okay, we can choose node 2 also. So I will do from node to blue.admin.msc. I don't know if I installed it. Okay, I think I have not installed this. So first we have to install the future, right? Windows failover cluster future. That is the only thing what you have to do for always on. You don't need to do shared disk and all because always on doesn't require shared disk. You just need to install Windows failover cluster future. That's the only thing what you have to do. So it doesn't require any Azure, I mean to say infra team helps. They don't need to help us. It's just what we can do straight away by launching the server manager and then go to roles and futures and then click on failover cluster future. It will be slow because this is my VM, right? So it will be slow. This is running from my laptop, so it will be slow. This is not Azure, so kindly bear with me. So this is the only thing what I have to do. Failover cluster future needs to be installed. Then once it gets installed, we can go ahead with the cluster installation. Let it run. In the meanwhile, let's start our Azure VMs as well. On Azure VMs, I did create Windows failover cluster and all, so I will try to delete that and I'll show you from the scratch. Let's first try to delete this. It will take some time, guys, because this is not that easy. You have to go through each and every step. I cannot rush because that will be slow. This is not Azure VMs. This is my on-prem, right? So it will be slow. Installation is happening. So once it gets finished, we can start our stuff. In the meanwhile, we can delete our cluster or not create. Before I delete, okay, anyways, I am going to show it from the scratch, right? So leave it. I'll just destroy this cluster. Destroy the cluster. Um, yeah. First, I will remove the always on. I have to do this from uh, what is that? From SSMS. I should not be touching this one. Let's do it from SSMS on. Let's practice. Let's do the best practices. Let's wait for it. It's almost done. Don't get confused if it is on-prem SQL Node 2 that it means we are doing it on on-premises, and whereas this one is our Azure VM. If you see the IP addresses, then it is Azure VM. They both look one and the same. That is the reason. I think this will not get started. SQL services will be in fail state on my Azure VMs. Anyone knows why? Let's talk from interview standpoint. SQL Server is not coming up. What is the first place that I need to check?
Configuration.
Hmm?
Services.
Yeah,
Services.
services will be in stopped state. Okay, let's first go to
Services.
Let's check with MDV.
SQL man, what is this version 13, I guess. The SQL services are in stopout state. Why it is in stopout state? Why it is not coming up? Let's try to start this and see what happens. These are all basics, but I'm doing this basic session for today. TempDB files are created on the temporary folder. Yeah, you know the reason. So see, what happens is that an Azure VM, okay, if you place, just remember this, guys, is very, very important. Okay, these are all these things comes from practical experience. Okay. So on Azure VM, we have a drive by name D drive. And it's called as temporary storage. Whatever what you place inside this, it will be wiped out. Okay. So means if you create any folder, because I'm having my files inside TempDB files, I'm talking about TempDB files, it is inside MS SQL folder. If you just restart your machine, I'm saying restart the server, not SQL Server, restart the Windows Server. This folder will be lost. Once this folder gets lost, I cannot create my TempDB files and SQL Server will be in stopout state. Do you think this happens in on-premises? Let's start.
No.
These are all comparisons what we are doing with respect to always on. Okay. So one final second, just give me one final second. I will come back because I just need to connect to my office laptop just to see if there is anything. Sorry, guys, just give me a couple of minutes. Not one, it's 1 minute is good enough. Just wait. Yeah, now I'm free. Okay. Sorry for the slight disturbance. Yeah, so what I place inside D drive, it will not get created, especially if you create folders. If you create folder, you are gone. So if at all, if you wanted to place your tempdb files without creating the folder, just keep them on the D drive itself. I repeat my statement. If you want on D drive, just keep it inside the D drive itself, on the D drive itself. Don't create any folder. If you create folder, once Windows Server gets restarted, I repeat, once Windows Server gets restarted, this folder will not get created, and since this folder is not there, tempdb will not get created, and your instance will be in stopout state. Do remember this. On Azure VMs, this happens. If you are placing your tempdb files on D drive, if you are placing it on any other drives, then you don't need to worry. If you are placing it only on D drive, this happens. Okay, that too only when you are creating the folder. When you are creating the folder, if you don't create folder, no issues. It will work as expected. Any questions here? From now, it will be continuous. There will not be any disturbances. Let me know. I can see this installation is finished. Um, always on comparison. It's the default tempdb drive. Yes, it's the default tempdb drive. That's what we are talking about. Um, let's move on. Any questions with that topic, like D drive?
Uh, the service, why the service is not starting, sir? Because the slide is hanged. That's why.
Because the whatever the folders what you create, not just MS SQL, even if you create some other folder, just imagine you have created test folder and you pasted something inside this test folder. So once Windows Server gets created, once Windows Server gets restarted, this folder will be lost, this folder will be lost. Every folder, what you create inside D drive on Azure VM will be lost straight away. That is the statement. You're getting my point? Every folder, every folder you create on D drive will be lost straight away once you restart the Windows machine.
Ramsey, one thing, there is collect guest logs temp
That is the
folder.
only
Okay.
folder that will be there. That is the only default folder that will be there. Rest all will be gone. All will be gone. If I create test one, test two, test three, and if you want to, once you restart this, just see this, what happens. Okay. Anyways, you have doubts, right? Let's do quickly this stuff. Test one, test two. Okay, I created 3 folders in MS SQL, right? Now let's restart this box and see what happens. Everything will be lost except that collect guest something something, whatever that is there. Let me go to portal. We can do it from portal. We can do it from normal drive. Anything is fine, but I'm just doing it from the portal because I got used to it. Let me click restart because it will be slightly faster if I do it from here. That is the only thing. Questions to new. What is that? Uh, why is the D drive temp by default? No, it is not default. It is not default. Okay. What happens is that if you are keeping the files in some other drive at the time of installation, okay, it all depends upon your the time of installation, the drive what you chooses. At the time of installation, if I choose some other drive, if I'm not choosing D drive, then fine, no issues. If it is in E drive or C drive or F drive, whatever it is, I don't care. Leaving out the D drive. If you keep it, if you keep your tempdb files over there, nothing happens. But if at all, if you are keeping it in D drive, because Microsoft recommends you to keep your tempdb files on D drive. It's recommendation. It's not mandatory. First thing. Okay, somebody said it's default. It's not default. It's recommendation. It's recommendation by Microsoft saying that D drive will be SSD by default. You don't need to create separate SSD drive. By default, D drive is SSD, and you cannot increase the size of the drive also. Remember that point. Remember that point. Remember that point. You cannot increase the size of the D drive. It's not possible. Okay. So
Hey,
if at
Vamshi,
all, yeah,
sorry to interrupt you. So why this default folder still exists and why the other folders are
that is
going away?
the mechanism how Microsoft has designed that. Okay. You don't concentrate on the default folder. Concentrate on the things which is required. Okay, so let's try to connect now. I created 3 folders in front of you: MS SQL, test, test one, and test two. Right? Let's see what happens to those folders. Don't focus on collect, guess something. That is not our agenda, right? Let's try to focus on the things that is needed most. So I'm now entering into that mission again. Okay. And now if I go to that D drive, I think I'm on D drive. Yeah, D drive. Can you see this? So, okay, this is still intact. Okay, let me do this from here because what happens is that if I restart or if I do it, the folders will be lost all the time. But since I think let me do this from here. My statement is true, guys. It doesn't mean that I'm saying something stupid. It is very much true because I've seen these issues on my real-time systems. The folders will get lost.
Vamsi, stop and start it
Yeah.
so that
Stop and stop. Yes. Restart
yes,
sometimes will not affect this. So I
yeah.
have to,
If you stop from this portal, it will be deallocated and again it
and
will
then
be
again
allocated.
it will
Yeah,
restart. Yes.
lock will release. Yes.
That's true. Because sometimes restart, it will help you to create everything. So what someone said, what's your good name, bro?
Brahma.
Brahma. So as Brahma
Yes.
said, so once you stop, the folders or the VM would get deallocated and then it gets allocated again. So let's try to do this. I'm going to just stop and start it. In the meanwhile, let's come to our on-premises and let's try to start our Clue admin. Watch the creation carefully and understand the differences. So this is on-premises. Okay. I'm clicking on create cluster. This will be slow. Unfortunately, this will be slow because I have assigned 5 GB or 6 GB to each machine, but still it is slow because I have too much stuff on my D drive. So, um, so that is the reason it will be slow. Anyway, so let's click on next, enter the server name. So I'm just browsing for the server names. So I'm clicking on browse. See, these many funny things. Okay, let's do one thing. I will enter the node names. Think I'm even not aware of the node names. I click browse, it's disappearing. Let's click on validate first. At least if from here it is appearing. No. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's enter the node names.
Even if you enter IP address, also it will come there.
Yeah. IP also works.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
let's see. Let's check the other node. Other node premises. I hate doing on VMs because it will be slow. So that is the reason I stopped doing this. But anyways, I wanted to show the difference between on-prem and that stuff. What is the password for this? Okay. Host name AG1 node 1. Let's go and enter that. AG1 node 1. Ensure that node is powered on and is connected to the network. There will be many frustrated things that comes up. Don't worry, we'll solve one by one. Node cannot be contacted. Ensure that node is powered on. Let's first check if machine is up and running. Yes, it is up and running. Fine. What is the time over there?
Vamshi, can we use NS lookup since it is in the same domain?
Yeah, we can. 4:08. I'm just checking the time. And also I need to check with whom I logged in with. I think I'm with the domain administrator only. That's fine. NS lookup. Let's check that. NS lookup AG1 node 1 dot com. Okay. Let's check my firewall. I just wanted to disable the firewall stuff, if any.
Go to advanced settings.
Just a second.
Oh.
If I turn off here, okay, then I don't need to do anything. Update Windows firewall is not using the recommended settings. Yeah, so that is fine. You are saying about inbound rules, outbound rules. I do know, but
Yes.
that's not required because firewall, I just stopped the service itself. So it should not be a problem with firewall. Just I will show you that also. Windows firewall. Can you see this? I disabled it. So I don't need to worry about that port numbers, that and this. How about here? Firewall. Yeah, it's in disabled state. No issues. Time is 4:10 here. Time is 4:10 here. Domain controller 4:10. I think that's also fine. Let's first check ping AG1 mode 1 dot.
I think you need to allow the IPs in both the machines, vice versa, right, Chiranjeevi?
No, this is on-prem, right? So we don't need to worry about that NSG rules. NSG doesn't come into picture here.
Okay.
Let's check with IP first. What is that IP? 192.168.0.11. Let's try. Let's check that. So that is coming up. Let's try it with IP for a second. Because I played with these servers 2 to 3 years back. I mean, 2 years back. I didn't start these missions at all. Yesterday itself, I started this. So maybe if at all I messed up with something with DSA, I will check that part. Just a second. Something is there. What is that? Bro server joined in domain. Yes, it is joined. What is that? Something for DNS, right? I forgot the shortcut. Active Directory DNS management.
Domain.
Okay,
DNS MGMT.
I'll do it from here. Yeah, DNS MGMT. Is that the command?
Yes, Swamsi.
Okay, let's give it a try. DNS, yeah, DNS MGMT.ms. Contoso is the domain. So AG1 node 1 192.168.0.11. It is there. The node cannot be contacted. Ensure the node is powered on and is connected to the network. SQL is I'm able to reach this from here 192.168.0.20. This is responding.
Go to network settings once, see in the which node it is not contacting.
I will go just a second.
Yes.
Entry in reverse lookup zone also. Entry is there in reverse lookup zone. And also I can see the entry. Okay, what you are saying? Network settings, right?
Yeah, network settings. ncpa.cpl.
Okay. One more thing. If you are doing with Azure VMs, you should not be touching this ncpa.cpl. You can do this on your on-premises, but if you are doing this on your what is that? Azure VMs, you are gone. Don't ever touch your network adapter when you are doing it on Azure VMs. I'm stressing this Azure VMs. So the default gateway is 192.168.0.4. So is that the IP address of?
Yeah.
Let's check that cmd IP config. Yeah, 192.168.0.4. So that is fine. Okay, let's try to do it
Yes,
from
sir.
node 1 and see if that works.
Yeah, please.
Create cluster. Next. Will it allow me to browse? No. Here also same stuff. Let's give it IP 192.168.0.11 and 192.168.0.20. This is allowing me. Okay, let's continue next. I'm not going to run validation test. I'm skipping that. Oh, sorry. Cancel. No. Next. Can you see this? Can you see this window? So this is what I said in my points here. So let me explain the points what I mentioned. Don't think that these points are something stupid what I'm talking on the internet. These are very important. See the statement. On Azure virtual machines, by default, if you create Windows failover cluster from GUI, what we are doing right now from GUI, it gets created without IP. This is on Azure virtual machines. But that is not the same in case of your virtualization tools. In case of our virtualization tool, this is on-prem, nothing but on-prem. And my virtualization tool in this case is Oracle VirtualBox. So it is asking you to enter the IP address in case of on-premises. So that is the difference. But if I do the same thing on Azure VM, that is not going to be the case. It will straight away take the IP address of one of the machines that you are going to add in your networking, to your clustering nodes. I'll show you that right away so that you can understand the difference step by step. I think I need to start this mission, right? Let me start this. Are you getting my points, guys? These are very important. That is the reason I mentioned up here. Bro server is joined. Yeah, it's same. So that's what I'm saying. Second point, we cleared it now. On Azure virtual machines, by default, if you create Windows payload cluster from GUI, it gets created without IP. So I will show you now on Azure virtual machine and see the difference. But in case of on-premises, it is asking you to enter the name. It is asking you to enter the IP. So in case of Azure VM, if I do the same thing, it won't give us the option of adding the IP for Windows cluster. It won't give you. That is the problem on Azure VMs. But that is
For which
not
IP it will take, Vamsi? Sorry.
see. First understand the okay, let's wait for it to come back and then we'll see.
Yep. Yeah, sure.
Let's so that you can see step by step the comparison, right comparison. Is this up? Executed started. Okay, let's connect. I'll try to go with the domain. If not, we'll see. So any questions till now? We didn't do anything, but still I'm just asking. Mhm. What I'm typing? Contoso slash OMC. Okay. Let's go with without domain first. There are too many passwords. I'm getting lost. Okay, this is Contoso only. Let me try with Contoso. So either this or that. Okay. Let me give the last try. Okay, I change it. Even I don't know. Okay. Oh, first we are testing that D drive, right? So let's test that D drive. You'll get to know what I'm saying. This session will be a bit lengthy, but please be little Patient, because this is AG, so it will take time. So that, but the thing is that good thing is that you can see comparison with each and every step. So it will be very clear for you when you complete this session. Okay, see this one? I told you, right? Once you, of course, it should be stop start, not restart. So can you see this? All the folders are last. What is that? What we created? Test1, test2, MS SQL. Everything is gone. That is what I'm saying. If at all, if you wanted to keep your temp.db files on D drive to achieve that SSD, to make use of that SSD feature, so you have to create files here only. You should not be creating it inside any folder. If you create it inside any folder, there is one PowerShell script that you need to run once the server gets restarted. So that you have to schedule it inside task scheduler. So this is the problem. If at all, if you wanted to keep your temp.db files on D drive inside a folder, I'm saying it again and again and again and again, inside a folder, that too once you restart the Windows server, stop start or restart, whatever it is. Did you get this point? You can clearly see all my folders are lost.
And without folder, Vamsi, is there any problem?
See, if I am keeping my temp.db files inside the folder, right? That folder itself is gone, means my temp.db files are gone. So do you think my SQL instance will be up now? Can you check this?
Yeah, it will not going to up, but I'm
Yeah,
asking if without a folder, if we keep the files right
on the
away
D
into
drive.
D drive
Yeah,
only.
that will be fine. There will not
So,
be any loss. There will not be
okay.
any loss. So if
Yeah,
you
yeah.
are keeping
Okay,
it
okay.
directly on D drive, you are absolutely fine. But if you create any folder and keeping your temp.db files, then you are gone. For that, there is a remedy. Okay, there is something called as IAS extension. That is that you first you have to install that, and then you have to make use of PowerShell script. And once you use that PowerShell script inside task scheduler, then no problems. You don't need to worry about this. So do you want to take all this risk? It's up to you guys. I mean, if you wanted to safeguard yourself, best thing is just keep your files on D drive, because that is temp.db files. Anyways, once you get restarted, there is nothing inside those temp.db files, right? So why to bother about creating a folder and then running IIS extension and then running one more PowerShell script? Do you think this is all required? Yes or no? Your choice. It's
No,
all up
Vamsi.
to you. It's all up to you. So I'm just telling you all the problems what you're gonna face if you keep your temp.db files inside a folder only on D drive. I'm stressing so many points, but still people will take some nonsense and they will again think that, okay, Vamsi said something else. So no, no, that is not the story. Very simple. First of all, if you wanted to keep your temp.db files on any other drive, then no issues. You are absolutely fine. It is equivalent to our on-premises. That is first point. Second point, if at all, if you wanted to place your temp.db files on D drive, because D drive by itself, by nature itself, that is SSD. So if you wanted to make use of that SSD, keep your files on D drive only here itself, not inside any folder. For example, if you wanted to create any inside any folder, then you have to have your IAS extension and then you have to run one PowerShell script. I already covered that inside my classes, like how to create a PowerShell script and how to make use of task scheduler. Everything is there in my classes, so you can refer that video. But I'm just explaining it for the audience one more time, one last time. Okay, clear or confusions? Bikram or any other like folders? Someone said folders. Can you see this? This is the only folder that comes naturally. This I didn't create this folder. This will be there on each and every mission. That is the name that gets collected. So don't ignore that folder. Rest all the folders are gone. So now what I have to do is I have to create MS SQL folder. Coming in. Yeah, question.
No, it's clear.
Yeah. So now go and start our service. So since I created MS SQL folder, now temp.db files will get created. Can you see this? It's just got created. 3:23 is the time. Just got created and instance is up. Okay, so what I have to do now? I have to delete my availability group and I have to delete everything since I have to show it from the scratch. So I think this is the one. Connect. I'm going to delete the group since you want everything to be fresh. Okay, that is gone. So I'm going to destroy my cluster and I'm going to create it from the scratch. Now you see the difference between on-premises and Azure VMs at the time of Windows cluster creation. I just created that. So now I will destroy this cluster also. Two nodes are there, but I'll try to destroy this. I hope it works. If not, then I have to delete evict the nodes and then delete all the resources. Let's first destroy the cluster and see if that works. Usually it should work. If not, we can see. Okay, gone. Well, final phase. Just wait for it. Okay, gone, right? So now we are going to create failover cluster, Windows failover cluster on Azure VM. Okay, parallel screens. I'm going to show you the parallel screens. This is on premises. This is Azure VM. Create cluster. Now you will see the difference. Next, enter the server names. I think here it works because this is my Azure VM. It should not be any problem. My nodes are SQL 2016 node 1 and SQL 2016 node 2 new. Okay, now see this picture. I'm not going to run validation, so I'm saying no. And see the difference now. So let's minimize this and I'll try to minimize this. No one will teach you like this, guys. I'm saying I'm not self-boasting. I'm doing this purely because there are many differences that people are missing. And that is getting confusion. That is creating a lot of confusion. So that I'm just avoiding that. Now this is the right time to see the differences between Azure VM, Windows failover cluster, and on-premises Windows failover cluster. What is the difference that you notice now?
Yeah, in on-prem, we have
Cluster
option to
IP.
select IP.
Yeah, right. So that is what I said. That is what I clearly mentioned in this post. So this post is not stupid post. Since I have went through all these phases, I just mentioned these points orally. Now you are seeing this practically. Okay. So now let's go and let's try to create the name here. So this is VM Windows cluster. This is on-prem Windows cluster. I think the name should be 15 characters. So on-prem 6, Windows 9. Okay, we are within the limits. So this should be some free IP, the IP that should not be used anywhere. So I'm giving this as 25. This IP, you have to get it from your Windows, I mean to say your infra team or network team. Okay, so that free IP, we don't know what is that free IP, right? So that free IP, you have to get it from your network team or infra team. I will say infra team so that it covers the entire network AD or blah, blah, blah. Okay, that is not the case with Azure VM. But still you need that free IP. I will show you when you require that. Okay, I'm clicking on next. I'm clicking on next here. Okay, the scene the screens are one at the same. There will not be any difference. So this is very, 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 very important. If you if you forget to check this box, you have to uncheck this box. If you forget to do that, all your normal drives will be converted into cluster shared disk. Okay, so it causes severe outage. Severe outage if you're doing it once the production system is live, and if you're trying to add a new node, then it causes an outage. If you're doing it for the first time, even that time you don't need to take any risks. Just try to uncheck this box if you're doing it for always on. As simple as that. If you're doing it for always on, just uncheck this box. Okay, because you are not familiar with Windows, right? So you'll see so many surprises. So all the screens are one at the same. Only the screen that got deferred is nothing but at the time of creation of Windows cluster, it asked for IP address. It didn't ask for IP address in case of Azure VM. Click on next, click on next. This got completed, but the other one, it's still trying to form the cluster. Since we are not able to do it from node 2, I guess we may face problems, but it's okay. But at least you got the difference, right? The main difference. last step on agenda. Okay, both are finished. Let's see this. See the difference. Finish and then finish. Okay, this is on-prem Windows cluster, and I'll slightly pull it down. It's trying to form the trying to create that cluster. Okay, so forget about this one. This is IP6 address. We don't need this. I'm going to remove this. I just played with some some entries in that DNS management. That is the reason it is coming up. You can ignore this. This won't come in real time also. This is what you will see in real time. Okay, in your on-premises. So this is how it looks. Now coming to Azure VMs. Node is being started. Okay. So now I'm not able to see this. Can you see this? I mean, so let's try to connect to the cluster on the server. What is happening with the cluster on Azure VMs? It didn't ask for IP, right? So how it is getting created? What is the problem? It is in fail state. Can you see this? It's in fail state. It's not coming up. What is the problem on Azure VM? Why that is not happening with on-premises?
Yeah,
It
actually,
is
it took
taking from
one IP.
DHCP. Some
Exactly. So it is taking the IP of the replicas, I mean to say the nodes that are participating in the cluster. It took the IP of one of these machines and it is making use of DHCP by default. Okay. So now let's try to connect to the secondary replica, I mean to say second node, and then you will see this. Let me remove this. Oh, sorry. I need to remove this one. Go to your second node. I think I created this on this machine. Now I need to go to this IP. Here it will be in started state. Don't don't get tense. It will be there. It will be there in started state on another node. Just go to another node. You will see that. But you have to change the IP address once you connect to your secondary node. I mean to say. Are you getting the differences, guys? Is this clear or confusion? Still confusion? I can't help anything. If you have any questions, let me know. Connect to the cluster. Can you see this? This is in started state. But if you see, it took the IP of one of the missions. So let's check the mission IPs and then you will get to know IP config. So this is my secondary node. Can you see this? The IP is 10.1.0.11. Okay, if you still have confusions, I will try to ping it from other node so it will be clear for you. Command ping 10.1.0.11. It will ping, but NS lookup. I'm not sure if I created reverse lookup zone for this, but let's try to do this. So I don't think I have an entry. Okay, it's there. Can you see this? SQL 2K node 1 is having 10.1.0.11. It took the IP of one of the missions. So I have two missions, right? Let's try to write it down the IP address. 10.1.0.11 is one of the IP addresses. And for node 2, it is 10.1.0.10. So if you want, what I can do is, what is this mission? Hostname 2. So I have to go with NS lookup of this mission. NS lookup on perso.com. 10.1.0.10 is the IP address. So it took the IP address of node 1. Node 1 is 10.1.0.11. It took that IP address. That is the problem. That is the reason it didn't ask for IP in case of Azure VMs. It did ask for IP in case of on-premises, but it didn't ask for IP in case of Azure VMs. Azure VMs is with 10 series. On-premises is with 192 series. So let's go and what you have to do is you just need to go to your VM where it is online. Here it is online, right? So just go and just right click on this, not here, here, properties. Okay, and then change this from DHCP to static. Someone said it takes the DHCP by default. That is true. It takes the DHCP protocol by default. So that is the reason it picked up one of the IP addresses that is participating in this Windows cluster. So change this and change this to some other IP. I'm just giving 23. Just click on apply, click on OK. So now it will be in start state on another node also. Since we changed the IP addresses, it should be fine. Any questions? I'm doing this step by step and I'm doing it at very slow pace. And I'm asking 1,000 times if you have any questions.
Vamshi, do we have to reach out to network team for changing this static IP, or we can give
See,
any number?
these questions, it depends and it varies from company to company. So first point is we don't know what is free IP, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So what are the IP addresses that are being used and what are the addresses that are left as free? We don't know. So it is always advisable to reach to your infra team or network team, whatever the team that is providing you the IP addresses, reach to them and get the free IP and then change it. So that is one thing. And also second thing, you may have companies where this Windows cluster will be created by your infra team itself. If that is the case, you don't need to worry about this part at all. Okay, you can completely ignore. But since this is just always on, you don't need to involve them. Frankly speaking, it's just you have to add that feature and then create the cluster because we don't have the concept of shared disk. It is completely very easy. I mean, it's not complicated, right? What you have to get is just get some free IP and then do your work. That's the only thing. But we are doing this at the end of Windows cluster creation. We are doing this at the beginning only in case of on-premises. So that is the point. Clear. I hope it is clear, right?
Yeah, yes.
Let's move on. Let's move on and let's try to create always on now on on-premises and see the difference again. What is this? Okay, I don't know the passwords also. Let's see. Okay. It will be slow. This is my on-prem. Password. I think let's give it a try. Okay. Perfectly fine. So I need to create always on availability group now. I'm just checking if I enable this option or not. So I didn't get any error. That means I enabled it. So let's try to create one database and then work on it. Some databases are here. I'll try to create a fresh one. See the difference again at the time of creation of always on availability group also. Okay. It's very important. I'll say demo DB. I'm not going to insert rows and all. This is not about always on performance or something. This is about understanding the network concepts with respect to on-premises and Azure VMs. So it's just a dummy database. That's good enough. Just take the full backup because that is required. Otherwise, the database will be in sudo simple recovery mode. Where is the backup? Backup. Let it be. Let it go to default location. I don't mind. That's it. We are done. If at all, if I'm having same drives, then it will allow me to go with automatic seeding. So I'll try to go with automatic seeding. So understand the difference now. So I'm saying new availability group wizard. This is on-prem, guys. If you're getting this error, what will you do?
Enable always on availability group.
Enable?
Services in startup parameter. We have to change, enable the always on cluster name.
Okay, you don't need what? Yes, I think yes. So yeah, thanks, yes. So if you get that error, okay, so what you have to do is just uncheck this, okay, and then check it again, click on OK, and then restart it. Then your problem will be solved.
Once the failover cluster has been created, then only we need to enable this. Before creating cluster also, if this has been enabled now, we will get this error.
I think so. Okay. I think I did it on secondary node. Let me do this on
Yes.
primary. So configuration manager, properties, always on. Just uncheck this. Yes. Apply. It will be a bit slow. Just kindly bear with me. Oh. Okay. And then come properties. Click this box again. That's it. Okay. Okay. Restart. I think I have to do this on Azure VMs also, right? So let's go and let's try to launch SSMS. It is there on another node. Let's first try to do this on here and then we'll go. Any questions, guys? I'm asking so many times. Don't feel bad. I'm just asking this because I cannot repeat this topic one more time. I'm done. I've done this so many times, but I'm doing this for the very last time. I'll say on-premises aging. Demo DB. Add replica. What's the password? Failed to obtain cluster information. Okay, don't worry. We will do it again. So I need to add the other node, right? Just go here and do it one more time. Just click apply, click OK, and then wait for it. Then you click it again. That's how it works. Unfortunately, that is the only solution. So we are done. Now it is empty, right? It is empty. Now click it again. Click apply, click OK, and then restart. Now I think it should allow me. Yeah, as expected. So no worries. So I will create listener a bit later. Okay. So click on next. I'm going with automatic seeding. Click on next. Can you see this list? Watch this very carefully. This is also a kind of interview question. Let's wait for the window over here. Okay, let's wait and let's do the same thing on Azure VMs also. And I'll show you one more difference. I'll pick this. I think I do have a database. Okay, I'll create one more database. I'll say DB demo instead of demo DB. Task, backup. Any questions, guys? One last time. Okay. If you don't use me now, then I can't help you.
So far we are good, Vamsi.
Okay. db demo, sorry, db demo full.pak. I'll take log backup here. I'm doing this purposefully. Why I'm doing log backup? I will show you why I'm doing that. Just a second. Transaction log, remove, demo, db demo. Okay. db demo log.prn. Oh shit. db demo log.prn. Oh my God. Log.prn. prn. Transaction log. Fine. I think we are good. Okay. Now, if I am trying to do the availability group and see the difference, what is the group name? I'll say VM aging. Azure VM aging. I'll say Azure VM aging. DV demo. Next. Connect. Oh, the same thing again. Here also same stuff. I have to do do this on another node. Configuration manager. This is the problem with always on. I mean, you have to spend a lot of time. You know, the highest session I took continuously for 3 hours, 30 minutes. One of the session what I covered in my training sessions, it went for 3 hours, 30 minutes continuously. More than I can say 2 English films combined. The duration. Now, restart this. And then let's go there. Okay, I think it's restart is finished. Click on connect. There we go. It's fine. And now see the difference. We got an error here on on-premises, sorry, on Azure VMs. We didn't get any error on on-premises. Why? Why we are getting error on Azure VMs? Why we are not getting on-premises? For this validation, when I use automatic seeding. Basics again, very basic stuff.
Maybe location, so the database data file and log file path maybe might be different.
Yeah, that is true. So it is, see the checks here. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 checks, right? And here I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 checks. Both, oh, I think I'm showing you the same window. 7 checks, I think it's here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. Both are 7. But I got error here, checking for the compatibility of the database file locations on the server. I got this error on on Azure, but not on premises. Anyone who knows this, he said it's because of location. Anyone would like to talk on this error? Or
As we are going automatic seeding, I mean locations, drive location should be same once.
I will explain here. This is also interview question and also technical stuff that you have to remember. Two things I'm mixing up. First thing, my on-premises is 2019, whereas my Azure VM is 2016. Okay, I'm talking about versions of SQL. My SQL version is 2016 when it comes to Azure, whereas 2019 when it comes to on-prem. So this automatic seeding is there from 2016. Okay, in 2016, there is a strict rule that I need to pass on if I wanted to go with seeding. That strict rule is nothing but you should have identical file paths. If it is E drive MS SQL data, it should be E drive MS SQL data and all other replicas. But that is not the case from 2017 if you are using automatic seeding. Why only from 2017 it got deferred? Why it is a mandatory requirement on 2016? Just think that this is the interview question.
Because of the Linux, this one.
Exactly. So we have the compatibility of Linux from 2017, and we can do always on between cross platforms. When I say cross, it's nothing but you can do always on between Windows and Linux. It's possible, and vice versa. You can do from Linux to Windows or Windows to Linux. So if I go with seeding, then I cannot get the same identical paths on Linux, right? So because Linux doesn't know what is E drive, C drive. It's all about mount folders, root folder and all. That is different story. So that is the reason they removed that criteria. And from 2017, even on Windows, okay, even on Windows, if you have different paths, different file structure, you don't need to worry. Automatic seeding will work. It is getting failed on Azure VM, not because of Azure VM. It is because my Azure VM is running on SQL 2016. That is the reason it failed on 2016, but not on 2019. Even on 2019, I don't have identical paths, but still it is getting succeeded because I am on 2019. That is the reason. So when you're appearing for interviews, this should be the kind of answers what the interviewer will expect. Okay. Is this clear? Automatic seeding. Automatic seeding is there from 2016, but only on 2016, the file path should be identical. But from 2017, the file paths need not to be identical. If they ask why, because we have the dependencies of, SQL started working from 2017. So I can do always on between different cross-platform operating system versions. If that is the case, I cannot have this identical stuff. So that is the reason we can have different paths now. Simple, done. Let's try to create this on-premises first. I didn't create the listener yet. Don't try to draw this. Someone is trying to, let me do this first, because where is that? Yeah, annotation. Something is there. Disable annotation. Yeah. Okay, finish. So I'm going to create always on premises now. It's getting created. Let's try to do the same thing. But unfortunately, this is 2016. So since this is 2016, I should restore manually. Okay. So go back and say join only, and then click on next. And before I say join only, I have to restore the databases. So let me do that. Let me go to secondary node and copy those backup files, log backup and full backup. That is the reason I took backup, full backup and log backup. What is that node name? I will go with IP 10.1.0.11. I think in E drive I pasted it somewhere. Temp. Now we are going to very, very important stuff. Okay. AG creation. This is where many people are having confusion. So I think we are clear with Windows topic, right? So now we are jumping to AG creation, listener creation. I'm talking about listener creation. So let's first, this is finished now. On-premises is good to go. And let's try to do this on Azure as well. Oh, I think I didn't copy anywhere. Or did I? I think I copied somewhere. E drive, I believe so. E drive, G drive backups. Okay. Just don't be a key.
I think it's demo, right?
Oh, 1 second. Did I took? Okay, just, oh, thanks, man. You are there. Oh, demo full. Yes, this one. Recover with no recovery. Demo only, right? Let me check. Yeah. Finish and do the same thing for log backup. Now, even if you appear for Microsoft interviews, you can answer this very happily, very relaxedly. Doesn't matter which company or what it is. I don't care because I know the concepts. Restore with no recovery. We're good to go. Now click on that join. I think I made use of join only. Yes, join only. Next. Next. Finish. Perfect. So now we created always on without listener on premises and on Azure. I'm going to perform failover now. Okay, let's create the listener also and then we'll perform the failover.
Vamsi, one doubt. As you said, seeding will not be work on 2016 with identical different paths. Am I right? That's why
Seeding will not work if we have different paths. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, in 2016 only.
Only in 2016. That's true. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah,
From
thank you.
2017, you don't need to worry about that.
Yeah, that's okay. Got it. Understand.
Yeah.
Thanks, Vamsi.
No problem. So let's check the dashboard for a second. I think DB demo is the one. DB demo. It is synchronizing because it is asynchronous. So that is the reason. Let's try to now, let's try to create the listener. This is the most important part and this is the most awaited part, and see the difference now. The main reason for me to take this session is what I'm going to do now. Please pay your attention. So now we are going here and we're going to create a listener. So again, you have to contact your network team to get that IP, free IP. Okay. So go to your listener. So I will say on-prem listener so that we can compare easily. On-prem, ONPREM6LIST. I'm just taking 15 characters. That is the only reason. I'll just go with 1433 for the moment. Static IP. And now I'm going to add one IP here. 192.168.0. I will say 35. Click on OK. And now it is going to create a resource inside Glue admin and then at the DNS level. I'll show you that. So many things, right? I'm forgetting the passwords. That is some problem. Roles. Yeah, it's trying to create. On-prem age is pending. Resources. Let's check that. Yeah, it's online now. Okay, it got created. So what is the listener name? On-prem LIST. LIST is nothing but on-prem listener. Okay. Who is the owner now? Watch this very carefully. Who is the owner now? AG1 node 1, right? Let's go and see and let's try to connect. So I'm trying to connect with my listener name. What is my listener name? On-prem LIST. LIST. Admin $140. I think I misspelled it. On-prem LIST, that is fine. Admin $143. Yeah. Let's see now what happens. It should have connected by this time. Let's wait. Let me go to my domain controller just to see if it got created. On-prem LIST, right? Let me refresh this. Refresh. Yeah, there is an entry. It says I'm not able to connect, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's give it a try with IP first and see if that works. 192.168.0.35. That's fine. So if I'm able to connect with the name, sorry, if I'm able to connect with IP but not with name, it should be some issues with my DNS. Don't concentrate on that part. Try to concentrate on thing what I'm going to explain. Just wait for a second, guys. I think I got a ping. That's not required. Okay. Okay. So now who is the owner? AG1 node 1 is the owner, right? AG1 node 1 is the, can you please give the port number also? No, it's, okay, let's give it a try. No harm in trying that. 1433 is one what I'm using, so it should not be the case, but anyways, no problem. What's the name? On-prem LIST. Most likely this will be problem with my DNS because I messed up few things 2 years back, so that is the reason. Same goes, it won't work. I don't need to pass 1433 usually. If it is default instance, at any cost, I don't need to pass the port number. Forget about that. Focus on the things that are required for us. 192.168.0.35 is one, and I'm able to connect. AG1 node 1 is the primary replica, and that is the current one. So AG1 node 1, that is fine. Okay. Now, this is the most important part. Most important part. Who is the owner now? I want someone to talk. Who is the owner now?
AG node 1.
AG1 node 1, right? I am connecting from node to SSMS. This is node 2, on-prem SQL node 2. I will show it again. ELS, because I don't have SSMS only on node 1. So I have to use only node 2. Okay, I'm on secondary node. This is secondary node. I didn't change the node name, so that is fine. But this is secondary node and I'm able to connect to the listener. Okay, I'm able to connect to the listener from secondary node. This is the most important point. I'm able to connect to the listener. Doesn't matter name or IP. Okay, at least I'm able to connect. I'm able to connect to the listener from secondary node by default on premises. Now let's try to do the same thing on Azure VMs and see the difference. I'm stressing so many times. I'm stressing. Even I'm feeling thirsty, but it's okay. You have to understand the concepts. Let's try to create the listener first. Refresh. Where is the node 1? I think node 1 is primary. Okay, I have to create a listener. I didn't create it. So let's try to create the listener. So that is on-prem listener. This one I will say it as Azure VM listener. I'll give you the full name, Azure VM listener. I'll go with 1433. Static 10.1. I'll say 35. Here also I will say 35. Click OK. So I'm creating the listener now. Let's wait for it to get created. If I go to roles, it will try to create that listener for me. Yeah, so it is online now. So it is done. So now, again, watch this carefully. Who is the owner now? Node 1 is the owner. Okay. Currently, I am on node 1. Let me show you this. CLS, hostname, SQL 2K16 node 1. Now, if I try to connect with listener name or IP doesn't matter. What is that name? AZ VM LIS TENER. As I said, name or IP doesn't matter. That is not our important part. Our important part is this one. So I'm able to connect from node 1 on Azure VMs. Fine. Now let's try to do the failover. And I'm going to make node 2 as primary and see what happens after that. It's talking about asynchronous asynchronous mode. So let's try to change this just to avoid that error. Warning message. Synchronous. Done. And then we'll fail over. Okay. DB demo is the only one DB what we have. Finished. And now let's try to connect Azure VM listener. Apply the password and see what happens. You cannot connect to your listener with name or IP from any of your second replicas or from any of your application machines or from any of your web servers on Azure VMs. That is the problem.
After failover.
means not after failover, not after failback. Understand the concept very clearly. It's not about failover or failback.
Okay.
Who is owning the replica? I mean, listener. Who is the owner for my listener? Listener is running on, availability group. Who owns the availability group?
Node 2.
Node 2. I am trying to
Yeah.
connect from node 1.
Node 1.
Okay. But the same thing is working perfectly fine on premises. Understand the difference now. This is the main agenda for our entire session, what I took till now. It's not happening with on-premises. I repeat my statement because if you see here, I am on secondary node. Secondary node, I didn't change the secondary node name because I didn't get the chance. So this is the secondary node. I can show you from clue admin so that it will be easy for you. Let me open clue admin. Connect to the cluster. Why that is problem on Azure VMs? Why that is not happening with on-premises? That is my question.
MAC address.
We will discuss that MAC address, geek address. We'll discuss that, but understand the concepts. That's what I'm struggling to say. Okay, who owns it now? AG1 node 1. On-premises AG is being owned by AG1 node 1. Where I'm sitting now? I'm sitting on some other machine. Am I able to connect to the listener? Yes, I am able to connect to the listener from second replica. But that is not happening with Azure VMs. Okay.
Because in Azure VM, while creating the cluster, it took the any one node IP, right?
No, that is Windows cluster and we changed it also. This is about listener. We have given the IP. Specifically, we have given the IP also, right? I've given 10.1.0.35.
Okay.
Someone said MAC address. That is true. I explained it already. And who watched that video, they will definitely answer. But who have not watched that video, now understand the problem first. Let's understand the problem and then we'll talk about the solution later.
Arc dependence too.
No,
Vamsi,
it's
it
not
does not
R.
automatically broadcast the IP address, right? If it is the listener
Yeah.
automatically.
So that broadcasting, that IP address, that MAC address, that ARP table, there is so much that I need to talk. Okay, I will talk that, but that is already being covered, very clearly with my post, right? So let me just show you up. I'll say, see. This is very clearly explained here in my class. But at that time, I didn't show up on premises. So you don't know what I'm talking about at that time. So this is the video. I made this video 3 years back. Okay, but it is still relevant now. And many people even now don't know what is happening with their listener when they are doing it on Azure VM and why they need either load balancer or DNN to overcome this problem. First, understand the problem. We'll talk about ARP, we'll talk about MAC address and what is happening internally and blah, blah, blah. Are you getting the point? First, the point is it's not about it. Failover will work. Failover will work. No problem with failover and failback. That is absolutely fine. But you cannot connect from your secondary replicas or from your app servers or from web servers until I do load balancer or DNN. That is the problem with Azure VM. That is not the problem with on-prem. Okay, now someone is asking me to do ARP. So if I say ARP, who will understand ARP first of all? Who knows networking here? Perfectly fine. Who knows ARP, protocol and networking, all those stuff? If I go up to this level, will you be able to digest that? Actually, it is not just ARP. It is, if you ask me the real protocol, it is, what is that protocol? Broadcasting ARP or there is something, right? Let me show you that article. CO, EVO, always on, load balancer. So this article was there from past 3 years, 4 years now, 2021. But no one has read this article and no one was able to understand what is happening behind the scenes. So I read these articles multiple times and I understood what is happening behind the scenes. That is the reason I explained everything in this video very clearly about MAC address and what is not being exposed and how they are tied up with each other. Everything is there. But at least now you know the problem. And that problem is happening only on Azure VMs, but not on Azure, sorry, not on on-premises. It's because internally, if I take, I will explain this later because it's very complex network topic. I cannot do it again and again. If you want, you can read this article. Okay. So the main thing is the broadcasting. What is this broadcasting? I will try to explain in layman terms, at least now. And we'll see it later if time permits, like how to understand this internally. At least you got the problem now, right? I'm talking about problem, not about solution. Are you getting this problem in on-premises? Yes or no?
No.
No, you are not getting this problem on-premises, but you will get this problem on Azure VM, provided if not on all Azure VMs. Again, that's a different story. We'll talk about that later. In few scenarios, you don't need this load balancer and DNN, but for the moment, my missions are side by side. I mean to say they are in single subnet. Once your missions are in single subnet, then you will face this problem. I don't want to bring that single subnet and all into this picture. So just on a broader terms, just take it like on Azure VMs, you'll get this problem. Okay, for the moment. Okay, so why it is not happening? It's not happening because let's try to explain. I'll try to explain whatever that is possible from my side. If it is okay, just digest it or else leave it. Any questions now before I'm going to explain the topic?
No, Vamsi, we are clear.
Okay. I'll try to create a new one. I need 4. Okay, I'll take 3. I'll take 3 here. Again, these are fundamentals. I'll just quickly explain fundamental and I'll try to explain this one. It's very hard internally because we are not very familiar with networking topics, but I'll try to make sure that you are able to digest up to at least certain level. Take one more. I need that also. What is TCP/IP protocol?
We will the server. We will take the server in remotely. Like the networks is the server and some is deployed in a different area.
Okay. Let's try to understand this. I'll try to make the simple. I will try to make you feel confident with these topics. Very simple. In olden days, we used to have this Airtel and Vodafone network, right? By looking at the number itself, we are able to identify it is Airtel network, it is Vodafone network, something like that. If it is 9885, I think that is Vodafone. If it is 9849, I think it is Airtel, right? Remember, in early 2010s or perhaps the starting of 2007, 2008, when we got the mobiles, right?
Yes.
So whenever you see 9849, you know that that is Airtel network, and 9885, you know that that is Vodafone network. And the rest of the 6 numbers are the numbers that are identifying that person uniquely. I mean, your mobile number is unique. I can't get same mobile number to that of yours. Obviously, I need to get separate number. So that is unique number. Those 6 numbers, mobile number, if I take mobile number, let me take a notepad. 6 numbers, 985 or 9849 is the network. So this is Airtel network. The other one is Vodafone network. The rest of these 6 numbers, okay, it is to identify you uniquely, right? The whole point is the rest of the 6 numbers are there to help us identify that person uniquely. I mean, the person's mobile number. The same goes here with TCP/IP protocol. TCP/IP protocol, basically it has 4 layers. Okay, I'm not explaining that was a 7 layers protocol. What is that 7 layers protocol? OSI? What is that? OSI, I believe so. Let's forget about that. Let's talk about TCP/IP. TCP/IP means basically 4 layers. One is transport layer, right? I'll say just transport layer. The other one is network layer. Another one is MAC layer. And the final one is physical layer. Okay. So the, the, the data will traverse from one mission to another mission using these 4 layers across the 4 layers. End of the day is physical layer. What is physical layer? Physical layer is nothing but ones and zeros. It's only the language that will be understood by your computer. We don't know about physical layer. So it will be end of the day wire transmission. So it will be ones and zeros. So what is this network layer? Network layer is something like our Vodafone and Airtel. Okay. So if I have 3 machines or 10 machines in a network, I need to able to identify that particular network, right? For identifying the network, I need something called as IP address. Okay. So just like this 498559849. So network will help you to identify that the other networks with the help of IP address. IP address is 32-bit. Okay. And it will able to identify that particular network. For example, we have Chinese, Indian, Singapore. Okay. Some networks are there. I need to contact Singapore networks. So Singapore network, just imagine it is starting with 192.168, some 32 dot or something. Okay. 192.168 something series. And I know this is Singapore network. And there is Indian network that starts with 10.1.0. And there is some Chinese network that starts with 172.16 dot something. Okay, I have 3 networks. So just like this, network address is helping me to identify what is that particular network. Okay, so once we got that particular network, in that network, again, I will be having some hundreds of systems, right? Thousands of systems in one network. So how should I be able to identify that particular mission out of those 100 missions or 1000 missions? Right? I need to identify one particular mission. I need to talk to that particular mission inside that network. First of all, I am able to identify the network with the help of IP address. Okay, I identify that. That is fine. Just like Vodafone or Airtel, I am able to identify that. But how to identify that particular mission? There should be some unique number, right? Just like our mobile number, the 6 digits after this network, the same should be there for our missions also. So that is nothing but our MAC address. Okay, MAC address is nothing but it's the unique 48-bit number that is assigned to each mission. Okay, 48-bit mission, 48-bit address is what MAC address is all about, and it will help you to identify that particular mission. And it is unique, just like our mobile number. The last 6 digits are helping to create that unique number, right? So in the same way, every mission will have MAC address and it is unique. Again, there are complications in that. We can have multiple network adapters and we can get different, addresses. That's all different story. Let's try to understand the basic part now. Okay, so you understood this concept, right? So first of all, you should be able to identify that network. And after identifying the network, you should be able to identify that particular mission. Okay, you got and you found out that mission. That's fine. But again, there are so many programs inside my laptop. My laptop itself is having Postgres, Oracle, MySQL, blah, blah, blah. So how I will be able to talk to SQL Server? What is that is helping in that particular mission to be able to talk only with SQL Server, but not with Oracle or MySQL or Postgres? What is that layer? That layer is nothing but your transport layer. Transport layer works with port number. So that is the reason we need port number for applications like SQL Server or Postgres or Oracle, where for Oracle, for instance, it is 1521, for Postgres, it is 5432, for SQL Server, it is 1433, right? So we are able to identify that particular mission with the help of MAC address, particular network with the help of IP address, particular program with the help of port number. Okay, so that's how we are traversing from one mission to another mission internally. These are all happening internally and we don't know all this stuff. We just think that it is doing some magic. No, that is not magic. Magic is happening with this protocol. These 4 layers. And at the end of the day, it is physical layer. It is transmitting the bits from ones and zeros to one mission to another mission. This is source, this is target. Just imagine, okay? Source and target. So this is transport layer, port number, this is network layer, IP address, this is MAC layer, unique address, this is physical address. End of the day, this is just a wire, ones and zeros. So from here, it goes like this. Got the internals or any questions? This is the right time. If you are able to understand this up to this level, you are almost done. Clear?
Now we are done. Yeah.
Okay. So this layers and all, it's fine now. So now what is happening on premises? Why that is not happening on Azure? Not just Azure, it doesn't happen even with any cloud. Okay. Okay, now imagine I have 3 replicas, 1 primary and 3 secondary replicas. Okay, so where is that diagram? Okay, so 1 primary and 3 secondary replicas. So if I wanted to fail over to this or this or this, how will SQL Server know that it has to fail over to this or this or this? not manual failover. I'm not talking about manual failover. In case of automatic failover, or if I wanted to perform this action, like these 3 replicas are there, right? In case of automatic failover, which one it has to choose? What is happening internally, actually? You know what happens is that is where this MAC address and this post comes into picture. Okay, this is very hard to explain. I will stop here. I'm feeling thirsty. But I'll show you the resolution. Maybe I will do reverse engineering. I will show you how to resolve that problem, and I'll explain this article one more time if time permits. So let me show you the resolution first. I'm not able to connect to the listener, right, from my second replica. So what I have to do, I have to create load balancer. Let me quickly, I think I have a load balancer already, but I'll change the IP address because I have created with some other IP address. So I need load balancer now. I'll explain why I need load balancer. And also, if I'm not using load balancer, there is one more technology called as DNN. We'll talk about it later. So let me first try to provide the solution. I'm just doing it blindly because I don't have time now. So I think it is 35. First, I'm going to provide you the solution. I should be able to provide you the solution in such a way that I should be able to connect to my listener from secondary replica. That is my problem on Azure VM. So that I am going to resolve. Just wait. Once it gets updated, I need to run a script. What is that script? I need to run the script. Why I need to run that script? What is happening? Maybe we'll try to do reverse engineering. Is this clear, guys? I mean, except the last portion.
Yes.
Ooh, where am my post certainty portal? It's updated now. Okay. Node 2 is primary, so I have to run this on node 2. That is the difference between your on-premises and Azure, guys. So if you practice on Azure on on-premises, you won't get all these problems. That is what I said. So let's go to that post once again, and I will show you. On Azure virtual machines, we have 2 replicas in same subnet. Then we cannot connect to the listener from secondary replica unless we configure load balancer or DNN technology. So that is the point what I mentioned. First, second point, I made it clear. And now I'm making clear about the first point. So my 2 machines are in same subnet. Okay. I'm not able to connect from the second replica. That is true. That is the problem what I'm facing. So what should I do? I have to configure either load balancer or DNN. I'm not going to cover DNN now. So I'm going to go with load balancer for the moment. Let's go and run that script. Where am I? So many missions, right? I'm getting confused. Windows cluster. What is this Windows cluster? Let me minimize this. Not this one, the other one. Node 2. Yeah. So I have to run one script. Let me run that script and I will show you. So why I'm running that script and is that really necessary and what are the things? We'll talk about it. I'll already covered that. So I don't have time to show up again, but I'm just showing you the problem and the resolution. If you want detailed explanation, it's there in my classes. IP resource name. What is IP resource name? IP resource name. Ten dot 1.0.35. Port number is 549. And subnet mask 2550. And now I have to restart few things. So take offline, bring it online. Okay, now if I should be able to connect from my second replica. Okay, let's check that. So I'm not able to connect here. So now cancel. Okay, the same thing I'm doing. Simple. I'm able to connect it now. I was not able to do it. Now I am able to do it because I'm using load balancer. Now tell me why I'm using load balancer. Is it just to balance the load? At least now tell me why I'm doing load balancer now. Oh my God. No, no, no noise, no sound.
I think you need to send the connections to the both node is a round robin.
It's not about round robin or first in, first out or the different algorithms. See, very simple. Without using load balancer, I am not able to connect from any of my secondary replicas or any of my web missions or app missions or whatever it is. So the main sole purpose of load balancer is for helping us to connect from app servers, web servers, or secondary replicas to my listener in simple terms. Okay. So how load balancer is working, what is happening and what is the problem? As I told you, it's already finished, but I'm just letting you know in simple terms. Why I need load balancer? To balance the load, right? Please don't say that. It's not about balancing the load. It's about connecting from your secondary replicas or connecting from your app servers or connecting from your web servers.
Ramsey, just simple question. If I have four replicas, then this power size script. Okay, needs to be run on the four replicas.
No, no. See, if you notice that I ran it from primary replica, you just run it from primary replica. That's it. You don't need to run it from secondary replicas. You have to run it only on primary replica. Okay. So go and run that script only from primary replica. That's it. You don't need to run it on any other secondary replicas. Chod those.
One question. One question. So
Yeah.
even primary replica also it will help, right? Load balancer will help, right, to connect that one.
So without the load balancer itself, I was able to connect from primary, right? Without, if
Yeah,
you,
primary I can able to connect.
yeah,
Yes.
you can connect to the listener on Azure VMs only from primary. You cannot do
Yes.
it
Yes.
until you create load balancer.
Okay. After creating load balancer, so that from the load balancer we can able to create from we can
Any
able to
mission,
create.
from any mission.
Yeah.
So in simple terms,
Okay.
from any mission, not just primary replica, you can connect it from any mission from the world, as long as
Okay.
there is connectivity. I mean to say,
Okay.
got
So
it?
usually in the on-prem, so that listener does lot of things, right? Like routing and all.
That is
So
possible. Same thing, like read-only routing is possible. You can do read-only routing for here also on Azure VMs. There is no
okay.
change with respect to those concepts. The only problem that comes up here is you cannot connect your listener with, you cannot connect your listener from secondary replicas or any other machine unless you use load balancer.
Yes, I agree with you. Yes. Okay.
That is the problem. And that is not the problem with on-premises. I'm able to
Yeah. Yeah.
connect it straight away.
Yes.
Okay, so these concepts are there from at least 5 years now. Even now, today, if I ask you properly those questions, no one, I mean, many will get confused and there will be so many answers passing around. You are now, I hope it is very clear. Step by step, I explain, like, like showing you all the concepts, right? Any questions now? You know why I'm doing all this stuff? Because I have to drive Azure Arc migration. For Azure Arc, if I wanted to show up that real-time feel, I need to create these missions and I have to have that site-to-site VPN and also that's why I'm spinning up these missions one more time. Otherwise, I'm not interested in doing this because I have to
Why?
drive Azure Arc though, because Azure Data Studio is going to get retired in the February next year. So I need Azure Arc now. So for Azure Arc to get that real feel, I'm spinning up these missions and I'm going to perform lift and shift of these two on-premises mission to Azure. Okay. For that, I need to create site-to-site VPN and all. So it will be very interesting. I have many plans and it should be superb. Like you will get all the concepts. I want people to be very clear with the concepts. If once they are clear, they can crack any interview, even when they're sleeping. And if you wanted to conduct interview, they will clear it happily because they have the concepts with them. What is there to stop them?
Let me see why listener is not connecting. Could you please explain that one?
This is the one what you need to understand why listener is not connecting, or at least watch this video. So I
Okay.
cannot explain because I explained this already. This is 2 hours 44 minutes. I clearly explained
Okay.
everything here. So everything
Okay.
is there, but the problem is you don't know what to watch and where to watch. Okay, I need to leave. It's 5:28 now. So I'm stopping my missions. If you have any questions, you can reach me on my WhatsApp.
Thanks, Vamsi.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you
Vamsi.
guys. Thank you for your time. Yeah.
Thanks, Vamsi.